You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
This is our slot, and we own it, Ryan.
That's right. Take full and complete ownership of it the same way Bradley Cooper did his Eagles in that pump-up video, which we will play for you, his audio, in just a bit. But when we get to Friday, the drama and the soap opera nature of everything going on, it sort of, just whisks away, and it becomes a little bit more about the football, doesn't it, Dave?
Well, yes, it does, and these are huge games for both teams. I mean, if you're the Jets and you look at this game, if not now, when? They keep saying, now I don't want to get into what they keep saying, but they continue to tell us about how, it's going to turn around, we're going to be okay, not to worry, the players still have Rex's back, the whole thing. Well, then win game. I mean, you can't afford to be 1-5 when New England's in your division. I don't think you can afford to be 1-4. You certainly can't afford to be 1-5. And we'll get into how can they win this game. We've heard about, the quarterback, the starting quarterback goes to a movie. The backup quarterback is ill-prepared. The linebacker says that they don't practice like a champion. Rex is defensive of Michael Vick. So there's a lot of things on the table. But let's get into this today. How do they go out and how do they beat the Patriots? I think is one of the tougher, the Broncos, one of the tougher tasks in this league.
But the bigger game and the more relevant game this weekend, the Giants and the Eagles. Because that's as good and as important and impactful an early season game, an early midseason game as you can have. You're going into Philadelphia Sunday night with a chance to put your stamp on this NFC East race. We all now know that this team is not going to be like last year's group. Can we at least say that definitively?
Oh, absolutely. They were 0-6 last year.
Well, okay, but what I'm saying is a team that has nothing to play for weeks before the season ends.
Absolutely agree.
Right. So we know at minimum this team is going to give us a season, which is something significant considering what we went through last year, what we watched in the preseason, and what we saw from the Giants through the first 2 weeks when they were 0-2.
I totally agree. They were 0-2 and on the verge of being done. They were 0-3. I don't think they ever rebounded from this thing, but they're now 3-2, and now it sets up. And you're right. This is a huge game. Maybe more important for Philly because they're home, but a huge game for both these teams.
And I think there are a lot of reasons to feel confident about the Giants in this game, Dave. If you look at the some of the football statistical aspects of this game, right? The Eagles are right now they're allowing the fifth most yards in the NFL. Their defense has not built on the way they were playing at the end of last year. They're giving up over 406 yards a game at a time when the Giants' offense is in an incredible stretch. Right now, Eli Manning's on pace for the best completion percentage he's ever had in his career. He's at 66% right now.
Yep.
He has 8 touchdowns and just 1 interception over his last 3 games. Giants offense has scored at least 30. The Giants as a team have scored at least 30 over the last 3 games as well. They should be able to move the ball fairly easily against the Eagles defense, you would think, on Sunday night.
I don't know that I want to say fairly easily, but you would think that they'd be able to move the football on this Eagles team. And now you start to look at the weapons that the Giants have. And I know that Beckham didn't have a huge, entree to the NFL, but he went 4 for 44. He had a beautiful catch in the end zone for a touchdown, and it gave the Giants the lead for good. He looked really, in his first action in the NFL preseason, anything, Ryan, he looked really good. Victor Cruz hasn't been great. You know what a weapon he is. Ruben Randle, I'm hot and cold on him, but we know what he's
when
capable
he's the third, you feel a lot better about him, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Larry Donnell, Preston Parker's the guy that can go out and catch a couple of balls.
Nice game last week.
And it all starts with the offensive line and with Eli Manning. I agree with you. I think that there's certainly reason for optimism, and this just shows you how crazy I am. Because there's now reason for optimism, I become more nervous about the Giants.
Well, no, I understand nerves because now you don't feel like you're playing with house money.
No.
Same way I broke down the Jet-Packer game. We're going into it. It's like, I'm just going to enjoy this because you want to know. You don't expect to win at Green Bay. But then once you're up 21-3, it's like, no, I need to win this game.
You change expectations.
Right. Well, now that you're watching the Giants and saying, whoa, hold on a second. The same thing for me in the sense that now I'm not just intrigued, I am invested and expecting success from this Giant team. Not necessarily expecting a win in Philadelphia on Sunday night, although I think they will.
You think they're going to win?
I do. I think they're going to win. I think this Giant team is pretty darn good.
You're sold.
I am. The first half last week discouraged me a little bit, But the way they picked it up in the second half encouraged me quite a bit. I am not sold on them being the best team in the NFC East because there is far too much that can happen between now and then. Plus, injury-wise, everything, which that's always a different category. But I am sold on them having just as good a chance to win this division as Dallas or Philadelphia.
I hope you're right. Now, you start to look at this Sunday. Dallas goes to Seattle,
right?
Which I think we have to all agree is a loss for the Cowboys.
Yeah, although
right?
Greeny believes Dallas is going to win that game.
No, he's wrong.
Well, I don't know. This is the one thing that I'll say it's a loss, but the one thing that would concern me is you think of Seattle, you think about their ability to get at the quarterback. Well, that Dallas offensive line isn't letting anyone get near Tony Romo.
Do you know how many times Russell Wilson has lost at home?
Once, right?
One.
Yeah.
How you could pick against them?
I
it's
agree.
Fine. Look, we all
I'm not
love
picking
Greenberg.
against them. I'm just saying.
Well, Greenberg did, and you know what? He's not here to defend himself, but he will be wrong on that pick.
Wow, you're just saying that you're so disrespectful to the biggest star of our station.
I'm not being disrespectful. I thought Michael Kay was the biggest star.
Well, Kay is huge, and so is Greeny.
Kay will let you know, though.
But Greeny is, to the company of ESPN, he's like one of the top 3 stars in the company.
So he can't be wrong?
No, he could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm just saying a little respect for the Green Master.
I respectfully think that Mike Greenberg will be very wrong.
Fair enough.
Okay. Do you agree with me or do you disagree?
I think that the Cowboys are going to make it a very close game.
I'm not asking.
I think the Seahawks
Dallas
will
to
win.
win.
But you said very wrong.
Very
wrong.
wrong.
They're going to get just shellacked.
I think it'll be a double-digit game.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope you're right. So I think it's going to be a closer game, but Seattle will win.
I wasn't starting out to cause trouble. I was starting out to make a point. My point is that would you agree with me that no matter how it happens, come 7 o'clock on Sunday night, the Cowboys have lost to the Seahawks?
Yes.
That means they're 4-2. That means if the Giants go in and beat Philadelphia, they are also 4-2, and so are the Eagles. And all of a sudden, this whole thing turns on its ear.
Yes. Remember what I told you before the season. I think 2 teams are going to the playoffs from the NFC East.
I still don't see it, but I'm excited by that prospect.
And if you look at the Giants' next 6 games, this is a time where you are really, any win you get over these next 6 games, it is going to feel so bountiful. It's going to be Thanksgiving in your belly, Dave Rothenberg, because these are very tough games. Now, after that, it gets pretty darn easy after that.
These next 6 are brutal, and we looked at them the other day, and we can look at them again. It's at Philly, and then you go at Dallas.
Right. So it's at Philly, at Dallas. Then it's
I'm bringing it up right here.
Is it Indy at home after that?
Yeah, then it's home to Indy, then it's at Seattle.
Right.
Home to the Niners, home to the Cowboys.
Very difficult.
3-3. I'm telling you, Ryan, if you told me 3-3 and 6-5, I would sign for it right now.
And you know what? They'd be in good shape to do damage. But this is one tonight where I think, look, Philly is not clicking on all cylinders right now. They've been opportunistic, but they haven't been robust. And the Giants, they do have momentum going into this game right now. You don't ever feel like you're going to definitely win in Philadelphia. You always feel like you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. But this is one of those where I feel better than I normally do about the Giants going into a game like this. Is Tom Coughlin's team more ready for the Chip Kelly offense this time around?
Well, you've had the experience. You've had a feel for it. I read where they felt that the officials were letting them go a little bit sooner, so they're probably playing at a quicker pace. We know exactly the number of the seconds, but we we've played against it. They've adjusted. They've made changes. Sure, we've played against it before.
Can I tell you something I really like about the Giants' defense right now? Mm-hmm. You realize that they are 3rd in the NFL on 3rd down percentage?
Which is great. And off the heels of a 10 for 15 from the Lions in week 1.
Right. They are forcing their opponents into 33% converting 3rd downs against the New York Giants.
It's great. The defense has been very, very – but I wasn't overly concerned about the defense. I don't think you're going to win games with that defense. I don't think you're going to lose games with that defense. I think.
Although, you know what? They're turning opponents – now, maybe it's, Kirk Cousins kind of inflates the numbers and whatnot, but they're turning opponents over enough over the last few weeks that does win you some games.
Well, that does win you games, but I think the Giants' defense will do just enough to keep them in the game. What worries me about this game, and I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again because I think this is the thing, Ryan. Philly has scored 7 non-offensive touchdowns this year.
But that worries you?
Yes.
You think of that as a trademark of this team, not an aberration.
They've done it. They did 3 against San Francisco. Against the Jaguars. They did it last week against the Redskins. They do it every week. It's seemingly they have 7 non-offensive touchdowns in 5 games.
Let me ask you this.
And the Giants are not as good as Philadelphia in special teams.
I agree with you there. If the Giants give up a return touchdown, either defensively or on special teams, will they lose the game? Do you think that is a pendulum swinger for whether or not they win?
Yeah, I would. And I don't know what the number is, but I'd love to know the percentage of teams getting a free touchdown.
Yeah, well,
I would think. Yeah, I would think these two teams seem very evenly matched. Mm-hmm. So if you tell me that Philly's home and if Philly gets a touchdown on special teams, yes, I would think that they would certainly win this football game.
Ruocco and Rothenberg with you on ESPN New York. 1-800-919-3776, the telephone number on the Maserati of Morris County hotline. Andre in Long Island. Andre, you're on with Ruocco and Rothenberg.
How you doing, guys? Loving the show right now.
Thanks,
you.
Andre. What's up, man?
Let's not forget, Jennings is not going to be there.
Yeah, we don't forget that at all. In fact, we went on a whole thing yesterday about how Jennings I think he's underrated. He's a real 3-down back, and Andre Williams is not that same kind of running back.
Jennings really helped my fantasy team get to 2 championships. I picked him up in 2 leagues, both those teams. They had Jamal Charles, too. But Jennings played a role last year for Ryan Ruocco fantasy
Can I
teams.
bring you back to reality just for a moment?
Yeah, please do.
How big of a loss
Thanks for the call, Andre.
How big of a loss is it not to have Rashad Jennings? Because I think it's big.
I think it's very big because of the comfort he gives you in the passing game, because he is the kind of back who gets a little bit more. But I was encouraged hearing Tom Coughlin describe some of the ways, specifically he was describing what Andre Williams was able to see on that 3rd and 7 run that he picked up the first down last week, and how he was able to counter it and just see what was there for him. That sometimes those young running backs, they don't see that. Like, that was one of the things we always loved about Bradshaw,
right?
And we loved about Tiki, is they would always see those cutback lanes.
I don't worry at all about him running the football.
You're just worried about
not at all
pass protection,
pass pro,
okay,
and catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, he went to a sports psychologist about the catching out of the backfield in the offseason.
I did not. Why?
I think just to kind of maybe calm his mind about it.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, but I worry about that. I do, and I think it's somewhat significant. But throughout the course of the season, you're going to have players miss games like that.
Yeah,
and they are in a much better situation than some teams are when you fall from your first to your second running back on the depth chart.
Yeah, I look, the Broncos have to do it. No, I think that I think you go from if you rate Jennings as a 90 or whatever, I'm just making up a number, then I think that Williams is a 77. Yeah. I think there's a fall off. I really do.
Well, there is a fall off, but also we haven't seen him get a full day's work yet. Maybe we look at him and say, you know what? He's even better than we thought he was.
I've always worried about rookies picking up the blitz. And the Eagles are blitz happy.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see a lot more blitzing on 1st and 2nd down with Williams in the game than you would if Rashad Jennings would be playing in this game.
Let me play this for you real quick, all right? This was Bradley Cooper.
Well, I'm not going to like this.
Getting ready. He's an Eagles fan, born in Philadelphia, getting Eagles fans ready for this game.
This is more than a midseason matchup. This is a street fight. Wall Street against Broad Street. White collar against no collar. This is a tale of 2 cities, New York and Philly. I promise you, there is no brotherly love lost between us and the Big Apple's big talkers with their use a bunch of cheesesteak eating, Liberty Bell cracking, museum steps running. Yeah. You want to know the best way to shut a loudmouth up? It's to shut it for them.
I thought that was very innocuous.
I don't like it.
Why?
Who is Bradley Cooper to mock the way we speak in New York?
Oh, there was nothing malicious about that.
I don't think it was malicious.
That was adorable.
Adorable?
It was cute.
A puppy is adorable. A 6-month-old child is adorable. That was not adorable.
You're not going to go Jordan on him now, are you?
What does that mean?
Well, what you've done because you didn't like Michael Jordan as a Knicks fan growing up. Tell the audience about your abstinations.
Well, I'm a Georgetown fan. And Michael Jordan in '82 hit that shot against Georgetown in the Superdome to cause me the beginning of much heartache from him. So that began my hatred for Jordan. Then he went to the Bulls, and everyone was fascinated. Everyone had their Air Jordans, and I went the other way. So for about 18 years, I would not drink Gatorade. I would not wear Hanes, and I would not what was the other one he did?
Nike? Pretty big.
Yeah. Those 3, off limits for me.
For 18 years, you didn't use it.
Just recently, I've gotten back into the...
So does this mean you're going to boycott Bradley Cooper movies now?
I might boo at them.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I think that's fine. He didn't say anything offensive.
Well, no,
He's
it
getting his team
wasn't
going.
offensive. It wasn't offensive. But you know what? I mean, it's Bradley Cooper. You know, stick to acting. You're a nice actor. You played the crazy guy very well in that Philadelphia.
He is a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
And the Daily News did an article talking about this video as if Bradley Cooper is not going to get New Yorkers to come to his Broadway play, which is opening up now.
We should go and boo.
What are you talking about? I want to go and cheer.
Why would you cheer?
Because this does nothing to affect my fandom of Bradley Cooper.
No, it should.
It should
What was
not.
that movie with De Niro, and De Niro was the bookie and Bradley Cooper?
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah. You know what? You stick to. You're a very nice actor. You're very pretty. We appreciate all you've done. Do that. We don't need you to sit here and mock our New York Giants.
Bradley, I would say you do that. What you just did, that's fine. I have no problem with that. As a Giant fan, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I'm going to do one back.
Ruocco, you know what? Will you do one back?
If
at
the
the end of
Giants
the show?
win, I'm going to do one back.
How about you do one at 12:45? You're gonna. How about we play a New York song underneath you, and you do one back to Philadelphia?
I'm gonna have to write this out because otherwise I might lose my composure.
All right.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
It's time for
What's happening?
It's time for Who's Hot, Who's Not, brought to you by your New York area Ream Top Contractors, which we will do in a moment. And the Philadelphia Eagles official Twitter handle. It's not hot right now. But first, let's hear from Bill Daughtry and get up to date, okay?
Thanks, Ryan. This ESPN New York Sports Center brought to you by Sloman's. What if you could save a couple of $100 with a simple phone call? Call 866-OIL-DEAL and let Sloman show you how to start saving today on home heating oil. ALCS tonight, Game 1 at Oriole Park in Camden Yards. Baltimore and Kansas City opening their best of 7. The winner goes to the World Series for the first time in a generation. Royals' last fall classic appearance was in 1985. The Orioles in 1983. Both were World Series winners. NLCS opens on Saturday. The Giants visit St. Louis. You can hear both LCS on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. Tonight's ALCS coverage follows the Michael Kay Show. Jets trying to put their San Diego nightmare behind them before they face the Broncos this Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Coverage at 11 a.m. on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. Hall of Fame coach Bill Parcells weighed in on Geno Smith's missing a meeting last Saturday. Parcells telling Michael Kay on Thursday he wouldn't have liked it, but it wasn't a big deal, adding he wouldn't have benched Geno Smith. NHL season openers last night for the Rangers, who beat the Blues 3-2. Devils beat the Flyers 6-4. Tonight, the Islanders open their season at Carolina. Look out, Bradley Cooper! It's back to Ruocco and Rothenberg.
That's right, Bill. Ruocco and Rothenberg with you on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. So, Dave, listen to this. The Eagles' official Twitter handle tweeted out this video, and you kind of need the video to make it all come together, because they make Eli Manning look like this scared, doofy cartoon character being haunted by Eagles defenders.
Do they show both Super Bowl rings in the video, or how does this work?
Oh, wow.
No, do they? I'm just asking.
They don't.
Oh, no.
They don't.
What
They don't show
what a
that.
surprise.
Take a listen. Let's see what it's like
They're
audio-wise.
so unfamiliar with the Super Bowl win.
They wouldn't
yeah.
know how to address them.
No.
Aw, yeah! Little Eli's in the house! What's up, Philly? You want some of this? I don't think you heard me. I am Lil... Hey! What's going on? I'm afraid of the dark!
We're coming to get you, Eli. Watch your back, Eli.
Who's doing that?
You better look out, Eli. We're coming to get you, Eli. We're coming for you, Eli.
Please stop! You're scaring me!
Hey, Eli. We're coming for you, Eli. We're coming to get you, Eli.
This is horrible! I can't see a thing! Somebody please! Fix my underwear! I'm so scared! Every single time
This
with
is
these
awful.
Eagles.
This would be Gong. If this was on the Gong show, this
Can
would
you
be
believe
Gong.
it? This is the Eagles' official
Pathetic.
Twitter handle with this
was that
low
actual
rate,
players doing that?
with the voice. I mean, with the "We're coming for you, Eli" voice.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I can't confirm that. But so the tweet was: the Eagles defense gives Eli Manning a proper Black Sunday welcome to Philadelphia for Sunday Night Football. And then this video.
It's just bad karma.
What are they doing? They're going to lose the game. The Giants are going to win Sunday
They
night.
should. If karma is involved, them stooping to this level, they're pathetic. And this is why they're Philadelphia.
You know
the
what?
Flyers never win. The Sixers never
You
win.
know what, Dave?
The Eagles?
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's time. You wanted to make your response to Bradley Cooper.
All right,
It's
Bradley
not just
Cooper.
to Bradley Cooper. It's also to the Eagles organization after that embarrassing display. Go for it.
Here we go. You think you're so handsome, Bradley Cooper? You may be an attractive man. The Hangover was an entertaining movie. Silver Linings Playbook was a terrific movie. You're still a hack. All right, your Eagles are fraudulent, as Don LaGreca would say. The Sixers haven't won a title since '83. The Flyers haven't won a title since '75. The Eagles haven't won a title since 1960. One of the great quarterbacks in Philadelphia history, Ron Jaworski, has admitted to being scared of Lawrence Taylor. Took timeouts at the line of scrimmage when he couldn't find Lawrence Taylor on the other side. That's not to mention the grand total of 0 Super Bowls that the Philadelphia Eagles have in their pocket. You know how many Super Bowls the Eagles and I both have combined? None. There's no difference between me and you, Ryan Ruocco, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Not to mention when you go to the Super Bowl, that's when your quarterback begins to vomit all over himself. Donovan McNabb, big spot, down a couple points against New England. Very winnable game. What happens? Bring him the Maylocks. He throws up on himself, Ruocco. It's been 54 years. This city is such a fraud that I don't even like Rocky. Giants, gotta beat the Eagles on Sunday night. Take that, Bradley Cooper.
Boom. That's right.
Nice. Give me a break.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Well done. I'm glad you got that out of your system. And you know what, Dave? Maybe it'll change who you choose in that game as we get to our Friday picks.
It's time for...
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
ESPN New York's NFL Picks Extravaganza.
Are you telling me that you bet on the fight in Rocky 3 and that you bet against Rocky?
Featuring the Survivor Challenge.
I am the smartest man alive!
Yes, we are. I think. So,
we are.
Dave, let's start with the game you were just discussing and we've been discussing. Giants-Eagles. 2.5 points the Giants get in a game they're going to win outright. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. I cannot wait to see what Odell Beckham looks like after a full week of practice. And even though they're without Rashad Jennings, I think Andre Williams is going to have a nice performance. The Eagles have been getting by on these return touchdowns. I just don't see consistency in that. I say the Giants win outright, so of course I'll take the 2.5 points.
I'm so torn in this game. I don't know what to do. I picked the Eagles on our website. I can't stand Philadelphia. They're everything that's wrong in everything that I am involved with. I want to take the Giants.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. You see what's happening here? I can't stand this team to such an epic level. I'm going to take Philly minus the 2.5, Ryan, but I'm telling you, I've never wanted to be wrong so desperately with anything in my life. And if the Giants win this game, I will bring in a full breakfast for us on Monday.
Cannot wait for breakfast Monday. Jets getting 9 at home against Denver.
It's up to 9?
It's up to 9. I think this is going to be a tight game, but I think there's going to be a backdoor cover from Denver where they win by 10. I will take the Broncos. The Jets are going to play a much more spirited game, but Denver's just simply so much better personnel-wise that they'll win the football game, and I think they'll end up winning it by 10 points.
I don't know why there's this sentiment that the Jets are going to keep this game close. I don't think they're going to move the ball. I don't know how they stop Denver. I look at this as, 17-point difference between these two teams.
All right, so you will take the Jets. Who is your game of the week, Dave?
My game of the week is actually Miami plus 3. I like Miami. They're off a bye. I think they're going to move the ball on Green Bay. I like the Heat and that matchup down there against the Packers. Give me Miami plus the 3 at home against Green Bay.
My pick of the week is going to be, you know what?
Supposed to have kind of heavy.
No, I was going to change at the last second. I'm going to go with San Diego punting 7 to Oakland because the Raiders are terrible. San Diego's terrific right now. Plus, San Diego is my Survivor team as well. We're both still alive in Survivor. I'm taking the Chargers this week as my Survivor team.
Do I have Seattle left, Jeff? I think I do, right? Yeah, I'll take the Seahawks at home against the Cowboys.
And that is our picks for Week 6.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Right now, we have Braylon Edwards in our studio, Dave. I'm excited.
A big fan of Braylon.
Yeah, so So Braylon, let's touch on the Jets, because you spent some time with Rex. You had some good years here with the Jets, and these aren't good times right now. Do you, when you hear Michael Vick say what he said about not being prepared to go in the game, and Geno Smith missing a meeting, and you have DeMario Davis saying, "Oh, we haven't been practicing like champions," do you look at Rex Ryan and think this is on him right now?
I mean, it's a situation that's imploding. I mean, you look at these comments. Comments can't come out of a team like that. It doesn't matter what position you're in. But the fact that they're struggling as much as they are, I think everyone's just they're over it, if you will. And I don't think he has control over the team as well as the locker room right now. There's no leaders. There's no attitude. There's no, the football that he used to call his own. It's just not there right now.
Now, I've always been under the impression that players, and you could tell me, players love Rex, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so if players love Rex, you say there's no control. How does that add up?
To love someone, everyone loves Rex. I'll say that. I love Rex. I'll run through a wall for Rex because I believe he'll do the same for me. However, in terms of style management and what the team has gone to from 2011 until now, guys aren't believing in the program. You can still love someone and not believe in what they do. I don't believe that he's a good – but at the end of the day, I think he's behind the 8 ball. Let's take a step back. I think he's behind the 8 ball in terms of the talent he's being provided with. I don't believe he's being provided with the certain amount of talent that it takes to win. I think he's getting handicapped by the general manager, John Izek, and he can't necessarily run the team like he's been in Baltimore, like he was his first 2 years with the Jets. He doesn't have that team. He doesn't have that firepower, so it's hard for him to, have that kind of control.
Do you think not having the proper offensive weapons, though, does it have anything to do with him and him being so defensive-minded as a head coach? In other words, does he communicate to the GM, to the organization, say, we don't need to go get those offensive weapons because my defense is going to do enough for us to win?
I mean, I definitely know he's a defensive guy. That's what he cares about. You look at who he's drafted in the first round, it's typically a defensive back or a defensive lineman. However, like you said, you have to put the right offense out there. You have to get the right guys to go in the right direction. And I don't know that Geno Smith is the right choice as a quarterback. I don't know if Eric Decker is the right choice as your number 1. I love Eric Decker as a player, as a number 2. I don't think he was your choice for number 1. So, and I look at that. It's kind of hard to win games, with a rookie quarterback when you don't have a surefire weapon in the backfield or out there.
All right, so Braylon, how does it get better? This team is 1-4. They just had one. I think the worst loss I've ever seen, 31-0. They were non-competitive in this game. They were not prepared. The starting quarterback goes missing. Convince me, sell me on why they can go out and beat Denver on Sunday.
I cannot convince you that they can go out and beat Denver. I think it's utterly. I won't say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible. However, this is close. But what they can do is Rex can simplify this game. I think part of Rex's ego is blitzing, cover one, man-to-man press. This is what he does. This is what he prides himself on. Sometimes you have to understand what you're working with and alternate around it. I think he needs to go to cover 2. I think he needs to go to cover 2 and give his cornerbacks help. His cornerbacks haven't really proven themselves to be one-on-one lockdown corners. I mean, this is when you have Antonio Cromartie, Darrell Revis. You don't have those guys anymore. So you need to go to cover 2 to protect these guys. And on offense, you need to simplify. You need to run the ball more. And now we get the tight ends involved and flex out.
Braylon Edwards hanging in studio with Ruocco and Rothenberg here on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. Braylon, does it take, though, does it take some sort of mental switch being, turned on or off, or does it take something to break this negative momentum beyond just what Rex has to do strategically for this game in order to just get this team out of the negativity that's been surrounding them? How do you do that? How do you pull yourself out of what feels like a pretty significant ball of momentum the wrong way right now?
It's tough. It's one of those things where you got so much surrounding the team right now. Is Rex in control? Are Rex and the GM against each other? What's going on with Vic? What's going on with Geno? What's going on with the comments that this team is making? Yeah, it's going to take something outside of football. If I'm a coach, I've seen Rex do it before. I've seen Rex do it where, you just step outside of football for a second, talk amongst men, you talk amongst each other, you figure out what's going on. I mean, you take a night off of football and just get to the heart of the matter. I mean, it's tough. I don't think it's necessarily fixable this season. They're a bad football team right now. They're playing bad football. But, in order to fix it, it's going to take something off the field. I don't think the field can fix it because it's just not where it is right now.
Is it time for Rex to be done? Now, I'm not saying you don't like him, and
Right.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve another job, but has this played out where it's time for Rex to move on?
What I'll say is, to that matter, I'll take a step back, assess it, because I do love Rex. However, we are talking about, the truth. The truth of the matter is, I think John Izzik is not giving him the players. I don't think, if you look at the player drop-off from 2010 to 2014, you take away Antonio Cromartie last year, you need a corner. And you give away your best corner, you give away Darrell Reeves. You just lose players left and right. So you either remove Izzik and give Rex a chance to get the players that he wants or the players that he needs, or, you remove Ryan and then allow Izzik to get the coach that he wants. That way he can spend some money and, get the players that he wants, because it has to be one or the other. They can't work together.
It's for me, too. I have more inherent faith in Rex than I do in Idzik. That's the difficulty of it.
But he's not proven.
How could you possibly fire a GM that's been here for a year plus before a coach who's had a much longer leash?
You could. I don't think you couldn't. I think you probably. I think if Idzik was to go, then Rex probably would be gone as well, because of the timetable. Ruocco and Rothenberg hanging with Braylon Edwards on ESPN New York. I want to ask you this, Braylon. As a wide receiver, your quarterback misses a meeting like Geno Smith did. How much does that bother you?
It bothers me. Things happen. I don't want to say everyone's perfect. Everyone makes all the meetings. Things happen. Alarm clock not going off, a missed time zone, things of this nature. But it's huge, especially when it's the quarterback. This is the guy that is supposed to, above and beyond, be there on time, be there before everybody, do the extra studying. This is the guy that has to sacrifice his personal life so that he can make sure he leads his team in the right direction, or so he makes sure that he's hitting on all cylinders on game day, on practice day, even on off days. So to hear him miss a meeting because he was at the movies, I get it. Things happen. I'm not perfect, nor are you guys, but it cannot be him.
Yeah,
it cannot be him. If this happens to a wide receiver, if this happens to a linebacker, it sucks, but it is what it is. Can't be your quarterback, who's the guy that's supposed to lead you to win.
How about when Michael Vick says he wasn't prepared to go in the game? Does that bother you?
It speaks to two things for me. If Michael Vick is saying he wasn't prepared to go into the game, if you look at Michael Vick going through two-a-days, going through on the sidelines, when Geno's struggling, he still looks like he's not going to get in and lolly-dolly. I think that stems from John Izzik when he first brought him here. I think he had a conversation with him along the lines of, look, you're not going to play. We're not bringing you here to back up. You don't have a chance to play. You're here to mentor Geno Smith, and that's all we want you to do. We want you to mentor Geno Smith, because that's been his attitude. Now fast forward, still inexcusable. He's been in this league for 12, 13 years. We saw what he did once he came back to the league, and he performed well for the Philadelphia Eagles. You cannot, as a veteran, come out here and say, I was not prepared as a backup quarterback, especially when Geno's playing that bad.
Right, exactly. Ruocco and Rothenberg hanging out with Braylon Edwards. Real quick before we let you go, Braylon, I know you had a question about Michigan you wanted to throw Braylon's way as well, right?
What's your schedule? Do you have to leave, or can you hang out with us for another 10 minutes?
All right, cool. Well,
have I overstepped my bounds to invite him back?
No, I don't think so at all, as long as Braylon's okay with it.
No, we would
Are you allowed to hang out?
I'm good.
All right,
but you're all dressed up. Do you have somewhere to go?
I have a meeting later on. With,
okay.
Trying to be like you guys.
You're going to be a big celebrity. I have a feeling.
You know what? All right, we'll have Braylon. Good. So Braylon will stick around. We can get to some other things.
Fun of him with Michigan.
Exactly. We can make fun of him. He's a big guy. He could hurt you if you make fun of him.
You and I together, though.
I don't think so.
I don't know about that.
By the way, you should have seen what we did to these two in trivia yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
Me and Ryan had a trivia contest against Jeff and Andrew. No, that's not Andrew.
That's Gigi. Andrew's a boy. Gigi's a girl.
He's not here right now.
Right.
We destroyed them.
It was embarrassing.
You guys are the ones on the radio, so I would hope so.
See, thank you. Exactly.
But why would we be smarter than they are?
What was the trivia involving?
Sports, history.
So you took it everywhere.
Yeah, it was
pop
culture,
TV. We were brilliant.
There's a game like that at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah?
The trivia game. I love that game.
Yeah?
We should go.
Pop culture.
Let's go.
What? You know if you ever need somebody to guarantee winning, you bring Dave and I with you.
I'll take the history. You guys can handle everything.
Oh, very nice.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
Braylon, we were talking about the Jets situation and their current general manager, John Idzik, and David made the point where he said, like, look, you can't get rid of him.
Well, he's been there for 21 games.
And I thought you had you had an interesting point about the timetable and John Idzik.
Right. You're right. He only has been there in 21 games. However, you bring a guy in after an owner fires a GM, it's going to be hard for a GM to take that job. No GM wants to touch that job. Every GM wants to hire his own coach. He wants to come in with the same understanding and be on the same page in terms of spending money, drafting players, what we're looking for, what we're recruiting. So when you fire a GM and keep the coach, no GM wants to touch that job. And I have to believe that Idzik was his 4th to 5th choice as a GM. So now you bring him in, and he does not necessarily know how to recruit talent. I was with John Idzik in Seattle. John Idzik isn't a recruiter guy. He doesn't know what talent to look for. He doesn't know how to win games. All he knows is more the managerial side of the money, hence why they haven't spent any money on getting players. So I think by Woody getting him, he handicapped Rex, and now you have the situation that you have.
When you were with the Niners, did you play for Harbaugh?
Yes.
All right, here's what I've said, and I've told Ryan this many times, and I really believe this. If this goes south, if we're talking about a 4 or 5 win team and Rex has to go, I would get rid of Rex. I'd get rid of Idzik. I would call Jim Harbaugh. Right, Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, and say, we want you. We will give you the keys to the car. Come in here and win for us. Maybe he's not well-loved. Maybe he's not well-respected as far as off the field. He's a winner. Jets need a winner.
Yeah, at the same time, you'll have to figure out who's going to be your GM that wants to work with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh. He's having issues out there as well, dealing with the GM, dealing with the owner. So, Jim Harbaugh puts a system in place, and we know he's a winner. He's a bona fide winner. That's why he's still there. That's why the off-the-field things that they have going on aren't that big of a deal, because he's coming there and turning that program around. So that could be an option. However, you have to find a GM that wants to work with Jim and bring him here to turn his team around.
How difficult was it to play for Jim?
Jim's a very intense guy. Coach Harbaugh is very intense, but he's a winner. He goes out there, he coaches the game like he's still playing the game, like he's very intense. He's very dedicated, he's very loyal. Sometimes he's loyal and dedicated to a fault. But, once you get past the intensity and you know where he's at winning at all costs. And he's at winning all the time. It's the only thing on his mind is football, 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 football. I don't know if I've ever seen him outside of khaki pants and his typical sideline sweater that he wears. But he's an intense guy. He's hard to play for, but you get results and you win. So it's you kind of have to eat the bullet.
Is it a fallacy that players need to really like their head coach to go out and win for them?
It helps. It definitely helps. It gives you more trust, more respect. I think trust is the thing. Trust is the thing. If you trust your head coach, you don't have to like him. A lot of guys you may not like. You don't have to like siblings, if you will, but you love them. So I think it is a fallacy. However, as long as that coach allows me to do my job, if I'm doing what he needs to be done, like if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, am I in the classroom, working hard on the field, making plays on Sunday, do I know what I'm doing, and he stays out of my way, then I'm fine. But if I don't like him and he doesn't like me, now we have a problem. So
what happened to your alma mater? What is going on with Michigan, Braylon?
We're just getting hit with all the hard subjects.
Yeah, seriously.
I should have did some homework
Michigan,
before I came on here.
That's right. What's going on? When are the Wolverines going to return to prominence?
I don't know. I'll say this. I'll say this to protect my Wolverines. Every school goes through a down phase. Let's start there. USC had their down phase. They had their reemergence. Alabama was down for forever until Nick Saban came there. So let's start there. I just don't think Brady Hoke was ever the guy for this job. I don't think Brady Hoke is head coach material.
And they loved him.
In the Big Ten. Well, what they love about him is he coached at Michigan. So he knows the culture. He knows the tradition. He loves Michigan. So that's one thing you love about him. But I don't know if he's a head coach. A head coach has to be able to check his defensive coordinator when things are going bad, switch things up. He has to be able to check his offensive coordinator when things are going bad and switch it up. I think Brady's so much of a defensive mind, he tends to stay in that lane, stay in that phase. I don't really know about the headsets. I don't get into that. I don't think that's that big of a deal. But he definitely needs to be able to facilitate both sides. And I don't think he can do that from a managerial standpoint.
So when you go to Dave & Buster's, you're the historian in the group when you're doing the trivia?
This is true.
Yeah?
This is true.
Nice. All right. So you know what?
We'd be a good trio then.
We would be.
Yeah.
If we
and you could be our muscle in case it got rough and out of hand.
You're I stand up.
You're a big dude, Braylon.
How big are you?
6'4", 220.
That's big.
You thought me and you could he would destroy us
I don't
together.
know. If I held him, Like
No.
if I gave him
If you guys got to that fire extinguisher before I get over there, I'd be in trouble.
I think
That's about it. If you held him, like you can just hold Braylon Edwards. He's 6'4", 220. And look at him. He's solid muscle. What are you going to do?
Very
to him?
nice.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hope it never comes.
Can I ask you about the Giants before we let you go?
Let's do it.
What do you think this weekend? You like their chances to go into Philly and win?
What's the word on Rashad Jennings?
He's not playing.
Not playing.
That definitely hurts.
So you think that's significant?
I tried to tell you.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's significant. However, looking at how the Eagles have struggled in their first 5 games or 4-1?
5, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 5 games. They struggled. At first, like you said early on, it seemed like, okay, they're digging it out. They're a good team. But now it just looks like they're scratching and clawing to win games. So that worries me because they're very inconsistent. And I know how the Giants are. You look at the Giants. When the Giants are healthy, they always start slow. Even when they went to the Super Bowl, they won 2 Super Bowls. They started slow. They caught a stride, and then they hit it at the right time. And then when they beat the Patriots in 2011 Super Bowl. So I like what I've been seeing out of them in their last 3 games. I think they're 3-0.
Yep.
In their last 3 games, they're looking better on defense. You got the emergence now of the wide receiver, Beckham Jr. Yeah, I like that. I like what they're doing. Eli seems more comfortable. It's going to hurt not having Rashad Jennings, but I like what I see out of them, and I think they're on the right path. I do like the Giants over the Eagles.
See, you can feel a little bit better, Dave.
Feel great.
Good.
Now I don't think we have to fight you.
Please
Hey,
don't.
so next time we have trivia, if we need a lifeline on a history question, we can call you?
Call me up.
All right, good. Braylon, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having
Fun,
me.
man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a star.
That's right. Good to have you in
not
our side of the business now. That's Braylon Edwards hanging out with Ruocco and Rothenberg.
You're listening to the best of Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPNNewYork.com. You hear them every weekday beginning at noon, only on ESPN New York 98.7 FM. It's time for
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
ESPN New York's NFL Picks Extravaganza.
Are you telling me that you bet on the fight in Rocky 3 and that you bet against Rocky?
Featuring the Survivor Challenge.
I am the smartest man alive!
Yes, we are, I think. So,
We are.
Dave, let's start with the game you were just discussing and we've been discussing. Giants-Eagles. 2.5 points the Giants get in a game they're going to win outright. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. I cannot wait to see what Odell Beckham looks like after a full week of practice. And even though they're without Rashad Jennings, I think Andre Williams is going to have a nice performance. The Eagles have been getting by on these return touchdowns. I just don't see consistency in that. I say the Giants win outright, so of course I'll take the 2.5 points.
I'm so torn in this game. I don't know what to do. I picked the Eagles on our website. I can't stand Philadelphia. They're everything that's wrong in everything that I am involved with. I want to take the Giants.
Even mean?
I don't know. You see what's happening here? I can't stand this team to such an epic level. I'm going to take Philly minus the 2.5, Ryan, but I'm telling you, I've never wanted to be wrong so desperately with anything in my life. And if the Giants win this game, I will bring in a full breakfast for us on Monday.
Cannot wait for breakfast
Yes.
Monday. Jets getting 9 at home against Denver.
It's up to 9?
It's up to 9. I think this is going to be a tight game, but I think there's going to be a backdoor cover from Denver where they win by 10. I will take the Broncos. The Jets are going to play a much more spirited game, but Denver's just simply so much better personnel-wise that they'll win the football game, and I think they'll end up winning it by 10 points.
I don't know why there's this sentiment that the Jets are going to keep this game close. I don't think they're going to move the ball. I don't know how they stop Denver. I look at this as, 17-point difference between these two teams.
All right, so you will take the Jets. Who is your game of the week, Dave?
My game of the week is actually Miami plus 3. I like Miami. They're off a bye. I think they're going to move the ball on Green Bay. I like the Heat and that matchup down there against the Packers. Give me Miami plus the 3 at home against Green Bay.
My pick of the week is going to be... you know what?
Supposed to have kind of have
No, I was going to change at the last second. I'm going to go with San Diego punting 7 to Oakland because the Raiders are terrible. San Diego's terrific right now. Plus, San Diego is my Survivor team as well. We're both still alive in Survivor. I'm taking the Chargers this week as my Survivor team.
Do I have Seattle left, Jeff? I think I do, right? Yeah, I'll take the Seahawks at home against the Cowboys.
And that is our picks for Week 6 of the NFL season.